citizen soldiers? Today I'm going to talk about how I almost got killed when I was in the VA. Yeah, that's right. Another story about me almost dying, and the VA almost fucking killed me. So back at the end of 2009, I went to the VA in Houston to a lockdown treatment called the Rover program. It was a 3-week program, and it helped out a lot. It made me get my feelings back. It gave me my emotions back. Emotions that I didn't feel for a good year and a half. And this is my certificate of completion. And it says, the Michael E. DeBakey Veterans Administration presents this certificate of completion to Mr. Whitley Carter, that's me, for satisfactory completion of the returning OEF-IEF Veterans Environment for Recovery Rover program, presented this 9th day of November 2009. The reason I decided to go to this treatment program was because I ended up writing a suicide note, and I posted it on MySpace. It was more of a cry for help, because I just don't have enough balls to kill myself. Well, my family ended up reading it, and they told me it's time to go get help. Because they were just letting me sit back here in the guest house, and they would thought that time would heal itself, which it didn't. Time made it worse, because I wasn't dealing with the problems. They were going to send me to a civilian treatment program, and that's something that I would not have done at the time, because I didn't want to be around a whole bunch of people who didn't know what I was going through. So I decided to go to the VA. It was a new program. I was like the second group to go through, and it was pretty much like this huge test study. I mean, they switched up things because this thing that they were doing wouldn't work, or they're going to try something new. It was just a learning process for them, and we were just test subjects, honestly. Well, towards the end of the program, I got very irritated because there was this one veteran. A lot of people thought he wasn't there for the right reasons. He was a homeless veteran. He had PTSD and bipolar. He was on all sorts of drugs, and he tried to get a whole bunch of painkillers all the time so he can, I guess, stay fucked up. He might have been addicted to pills or something, I don't know. He was an alright guy, and a lot of people didn't like him. And it was like high school in there. I mean, when we were in the day room, you would have other veterans sitting there talking behind his back, saying, you know, he's not here for the right reasons, it's fucking bullshit, that he's even here, he should be kicked out. And finally, I just got fed up, because I stick up for my fellow brothers. No matter if he really wasn't there for the right reason, I still stick up for him because he's still fucked up, you know? And I finally got fed up, and I said something about it. I was like, look, if we're going to have a fucking problem, how about you call him in here and let's fucking handle this shit. And this other veteran, he was a big black guy. He was a ranger, and I guess he killed some people. And he was an MMA fighter. He wasn't real big. He was muscular, but he was, you know, shorter than me. I'm 6'2", and I think he was like 5'8", 5'10", something like that. Well, me and him got into it once before. I don't remember exactly the reason why, but he looked at me one time and he said, let me ask you this. Did you ever fire your weapon? And I was like, yeah, I fired my weapon. I shot at plenty of cars, but I'm glad I didn't fucking kill anybody. I'm very glad of that. And I'm sorry that you had to kill some people. Anyways, we got into it a second time because, you know, I just got fed up with the high school bullshit. We're all there to get help. We're all brothers and sisters. We all went through the same fucking shit. So why do we gotta sit here and have this, break this unity that we're supposed to have, right? I don't remember exactly what was said. I remember we got up, we stood up, and we were about to fight. And, you know, they held us back. A lot of the people, they held us back so we wouldn't fight. And they were pulling me out of the day room. And this is fucking, looking back on this is so funny. The chairs in there, they had sand at the bottom. They were real heavy, so you couldn't throw them, you know, because they knew when you put a shitload of veterans, well, there's only 10 of us, but when you put 10 veterans who have PTSD and have all these issues and who are dealing with these issues and going through painful experiences and reliving those painful experiences, shit's gonna go down. You know, you can't put 10 fucking fucked up people around each other for 3 weeks who are just fed up dealing with these hard things and expect everything just to be fucking cupcake camp, you know? No. Anyways, they pulled us out, and the trash can was actually just one of those paper brown bags, and I picked it up and I tried to throw it at them. I'm like, here motherfucker, try to get a fucking paper cut, bitch. Well, anyways, they pulled us out, and right after that I started to have an anxiety attack, you know, because my anxiety just shot up out the roof. And I went to my room and went to the bathroom. I was crying, I was I was having a hard time breathing. I went over to the toilet and I was dry heaving. And they called a code green. And a code green is when there's a fight or somebody's just completely out of control. They call a code green and security comes up and, you know, they make sure everything's alright. Well, it was about 15 minutes before security got up there. And I was already calmed down. I was sitting under the toilet. I calmed myself down. And they said, Mr. Carter, we gotta give you this shot in your ass. And I'm like, I don't need no fucking shot. I'm like, I'm calm. You know, I'm calm. I'm a lot calmer now. I don't need no shot. And they're like, well, it's procedure. We have to give you this shot. And I'm like, no, you're not giving me no fucking shot. I don't need it. And, you know, it's just going to piss me off if you sit there and say that I need something when I know I don't. I'm pretty sure I'm capable enough to know when I need it. If I wasn't that calmed down, maybe I would allow them to give me a shot. So I sat there for about 10 minutes refusing the shot. I kept refusing because I didn't need the fucking shot. And I guess the reason why I was refusing is because the shot almost fucking killed me. I guess I had a feeling that I really didn't need the shot. What the fuck did they not understand about that? Anyways, I'm sitting over the toilet, and the nurse, poor old lady, she was a nice, sweet nurse, and she was actually one of those good nurses, you know, who actually cared about you. You know, there's nurses and doctors in the VA that care about you, but they're hard to come by. For the most part, the VA don't give a fuck about you. Anyways, she was like, sorry. You know, she was apologizing while she did this. She pulled down my pants, and she gave me the shot in the ass. And as soon as she gave me the shot in the ass, I was like, whoa, it's a shot of Habanol. They call it the happy shot. It's meant to calm you down. Well, I had to go to another unit that was across the 6th floor for the night so I could calm down, you know, so we wouldn't get, you know, they didn't want us fighting again. And when we were walking over there, I was walking and my body started stiffening up. And I looked at the nurses and I was like, something's not right. And my anxiety was shooting up. I thought it was supposed to help calm you down, not raise your anxiety. And I was getting kind of freaked out. I was like, man, you know, something's not right. I was like, what the fuck did they shoot me up with? And they were like, well, it's just the shot. And I'm like, no shit, it's the shot. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say that out loud. Well, they set me down in the day room, the common area, for about 15-20 minutes. They came and checked my vital signs, and I told them, I was like, look, something's not right. My anxiety, I don't feel right. And they're like, oh, it's just a shot. Well, they ended up throwing me into a room to sleep for the night. And the next day, felt a little better. That night, it was really hard to sleep. I had to force myself to sleep because my anxiety was just up. My body was like real tense and tightening up. I mean, I looked like a fucking crippled person. I was like, argh. Well, the next day, we had a meeting between me and this guy, because that's what you're supposed to do when you have problems. You're supposed to man up and deal with them, handle them, you know. If you don't handle the issue's just not going to go away. It'll come back eventually. Well, we had a meeting, we were in there talking, and I guess thinking about my emotions from the night before raised my anxiety up, and I still had that drug in my system. And something fucking horrible happened, like within a couple minutes of us talking. And keep in mind, this was, you know, a pretty good size, very muscular, black MMA fighter. He was a black guy, and you know, I'm pretty sure he could whoop some ass. I'm not saying I was scared of him or not. I wouldn't try to fight him if I was scared of him, but you know, this is supposed to be a hardcore Ranger guy, right? Well, my jaw ended up shifting. I can't even put my jaw as far over as it was. It just slowly started going all the way over, and it was getting really, really painful. I thought my jaw was gonna fucking like break off and be like a fucking boomerang. Like, it and fucking come and hit me in the face or something. And the look on that ranger's face, I mean, he turned as white as a ghost, and his mouth was like, because I didn't even know it was possible for your jaw to shift over that much. And what was happening, I was having an anxiety attack and an allergic reaction to the shot, and it caused me to have an anxiety attack, and I was having lockjaw. And man, it was pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, what the fuck's wrong with me? I thought my jaw was gonna break. And my jaw, it clenched shut all the way over, and it clenched shut, and that was making it way more painful because the muscles and stuff over here were getting stretched out. And I ended up, they set me down, and I was sitting against the wall, and thankfully the person who was doing the meeting was, she did a relaxation class, and she told me, do what I taught you in the relaxation class. And I started doing the breathing. So when you're doing the relaxation technique, you picture the details. So I was picturing the wind hitting my face, the heat, the feeling of the sand, hearing the waves, the ocean. And I was doing the breathing. You breathe in through your nose and out your mouth. And that started to help. I calmed myself down enough where my jaw unlocked. And oh my God, talk about relief. And they ended up giving me a shot of Benadryl because they were like, yep, he's having an allergic reaction. I was like, yep, maybe you would have figured that out last night if you would have fucking listened to me. But anyways, they sent me to my room, lay down, and I ended up having these attacks 2 more times. And the next 2 times it happened, I was smart enough that as soon as I felt my jaw starting to lock, I just clenched my jaw shut because I didn't want my jaw to break off. And the very last time, the pressure was so intense, I locked my jaw, clenched it tight, and it just kept getting tighter and tighter. And then I started hearing my back molar. And back molars are really hard to crack off. I mean, you gotta have a lot of pressure to break your teeth like that. And I just heard it cracking, and they went and I was like, motherfucker, this is bullshit. And I went in and I told them, like, look, it's happening again. I cracked my tooth. And they're like, oh my God, are you alright? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not alright. If you wouldn't have gave me the shot in the first place, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. Maybe you need to listen to your patients a little better. Well, anyways, I hope they put this in my medical records. I have an appointment on Monday, the 18th, to talk about this, because since I was in their care, it was a lockdown program, it was a 3-week program. They're responsible for whatever happens to me. And since I cracked my tooth, they should be responsible to fix that tooth. And you know how I was having a tooth problem, I had an abscessed tooth, and I had my wisdom teeth coming in too. If they fix the tooth, which if they don't, then I'm going to seek legal action. Because like I said, they should be responsible to fix that, even though it was back in 2009. I don't give a fuck. But I'm going to try to get them to fix my wisdom teeth and my abscessed tooth, if possible. If not, at least get this tooth fixed, because there's a big hole, and eventually it will start bothering me. And it could start an infection, and it could kill me. And I don't want to deal with that because I've already almost died too many times in my life as it is. Man, I ain't no pussy, but obviously I got 9 lives, and I only got a couple left. Anyways, yeah, that was the time I almost died in the VA. I mean, I was having an allergic reaction, and they threw me in the room at night, and I don't even think any of the nurses or anything came by to check on us, and I could have fell asleep and could have fucking died. Imagine the investigation that would have opened up. Or imagine the cover-up they probably would have did if I would have died in their care. Especially when I was sitting there refusing the shot. So I just wanted to expose, how the VA doesn't listen to you. How they don't really care about you. Now, don't get me wrong, there are good doctors, there are good nurses and stuff who really care about you. But for the most part, the VA as a whole does not give a fuck about you. They won't do what's best for you, and the VA is a fight. I mean, I thought the VA is supposed to be a place where they help you. But it seems like a lot of the times when I go to the VA, it puts me in a bad mood. It pisses me off. Sometimes it makes me a little sad because of that I'm even dealing with that I have to fight them. And I think the next episode of this I'm gonna do is I forgot what era he was in. He was an older veteran. I'm not gonna say old because I believe you're not old until you're having your diapers changed again. But he was at the Bikini Bottom nukes when they tested the nukes, and a lot of the military personnel were test subjects to see what the effects of the radiation from the nukes were. And he had a card that stated he was in those tests. And I'll tell you more about how he's fighting the VA right now because he has cancer. Anyways, I really didn't try to make this a funny episode. It's more serious. The last episode I did of this, I made it pretty funny because I was pissed off. And usually when I'm pissed off, I like to be funny. It's just like how when I'm sad, I like to be funny. I like to make people laugh because that awkward moment when you're watching your own video and it makes you laugh. Yeah, I laugh at my own jokes. Don't make fun of me, alright? Anyways, if y'all can give this video a like and share this video around, help share these stories around to let people know how the VA really is. So maybe we can fucking do something about it because I'm this close to not even going to the VA whatsoever. I mean, that's how horrible it is to me. But anyways, thanks for all the support y'all been giving me. And much love from the Iraq veteran.